Welcome to another video production from Slater Dozier Railroad Media. In this video, we see several good trains from North Alabama during the first half of 2024. We begin this video in Huntsville, Alabama with empty share coal train NS 733 being led by BNSF 5742. While BNSF 5742 might look like the average ES44, it is part of a pre-production series of ES44ACs that were designated by BNSF as AC4400 EVs, which consists of BNSF's 5718 to 5747. The H2 paint scheme on BNSF 5742 would be a bonus, since most BNSF ES44s, or GEVOs as us rail fans call them, wear the H3 paint scheme. February 10th, 2024 would involve a lot of good rail action through North Alabama, and the day would begin with NS 284 rolling through Decatur, Alabama with H1 Dash 9 BNSF 1069 second of 3. The next noteworthy train would come through Decatur in the form of CSX I-129, which would be led by CSX T-133 in the Yellow Nose 2 paint scheme. After I-129 cleared Vine Street, CSXT 4384, an SD40-3 rebuild painted in a unique paint scheme honoring the Clinchfield Railroad, would lead interchange job CSX Y101 through Vine Street before shoving into the yard to interchange cars to Norfolk Southern. Autorack local NS A04 would later come west over the Tennessee River drawbridge in Decatur with SD70M-2 NS 2693 leading the way. Normally, A04 originates and terminates in the yard in Decatur, but on this day, A04 would terminate in Sheffield Yard on the outskirts of Muscle Shoals, which would allow me the rare opportunity to chase this local west of Decatur. I would then move to Hillsboro, Alabama to catch A04 rolling through the small town at track speed. Once A04 terminated in Sheffield, I would snag 2 westbound trains east of Leeton, Alabama at Control Point Forest before heavy rain would roll in. The first westbound, NS 363, would be led by NS 3625, an ET44AC that has the appearance of older Norfolk Southern GE engines with a black brow and older style number boards on the front of the locomotive. Westbound number 2 would be NS 287 led by SD70 ACC NS 1830. I would then head west to Corinth, Mississippi to see what I could find. I would get lucky with the CPKC yard job from Corinth being coupled to a southbound train under a bridge on the southern end of town with an awesome lash-up of 3 GP40-3s with Canadian-style cabs. 2 of these engines wore the Southern Belle paint scheme, and the third, KCS 2911, wore the Grey Ghost paint scheme, which is becoming increasingly more difficult to find. I would find myself at Control Point Holdout on the morning of February 25th, 2024 for NS 284. This run-through intermodal train from BNSF would be led by BNSF 713, a Dash 9 wearing the Warbonnet paint scheme that was purchased during the Santa Fe's merger with the Burlington Northern to form present-day Burlington Northern Santa Fe. While it still wears the old Santa Fe paint scheme, it was labeled with BNSF lettering before it was released into service due to the merger. I would try to chase NS 284 back east, but the dispatcher would hold them at Control Point Forest to wait on an NS 101 that was over 10,000 feet long and was unable to fit in any sidings between Control Point Brock on the east side of Huntsville and Control Point Forest near Leeton, Alabama. I would wait in Trinity, Alabama for NS 101, which would have a 1x1 lash-up configuration with an older C44 ACCTE leading the lengthy mixed freight. NS 101 would eventually get to Forest, and NS 284 would finally get trackage east once 101 cleared the control point. I would catch NS 284 one more time before the sunset in Hillsboro, Alabama. On March 1st, 2024, NS 287 would roll through Scottsboro, Alabama behind SD70AH UP8813 and SD70ACE UP8461. The following day would result in a trip to Decatur for a couple of good trains, with the first being CSX IO26 with CSXT 1982, the Seaboard Heritage Unit, leading the northbound intermodal train. Norfolk Southern would send the next train of interest in the form of NS 204, an as-needed intermodal train carrying traffic that would normally travel on the Meridian Speedway. UP 5151, an uncommon notch nose SD70M, would lead this train east through the junction at Vine Street. I would catch NS 204 again in Greenbrier, Alabama as they slowly approached Control Point Lumber, where they would meet NS 283, which was led by a trio of BNSF GEVOs. Continuing east, I would wait in Ryland, Alabama for local NS A04 to return westbound. The power for this local would be NS 6323, which is one of a few SD40Es equipped with the Nathan P5 horn. My final catch of NS 204 would be in Paint Rock, Alabama. Later that month, on March 27th, NS 363 would roll through Gurley, Alabama with SD70 ACU NS 7278 leading 2-9s. The third engine, NS 3950, is one of the handful of Dash 9s that KCS purchased from BNSF in 2021. KCS, now CPKC, sold all of their former BNSF Dash 9s to NS earlier in 2024. This unit would later be stored and is currently waiting to be shipped off to Wabtec in Fort Worth, Texas to be rebuilt into an AC44C6M as of this video. A few days later, on April 6th, SD70 ACC NS 1835 would lead NS 101 westbound towards Madison, Alabama. NS 362 would come through Huntsville later that evening with an interesting lashup. NS 4001, one of Norfolk Southern's first AC44C6M rebuilds that was painted in a commemorative paint scheme, would lead the eastbound mixed freight with H1 painted Dash 9 BNSF 1121 trailing fourth of 4 in the lashup. A week later, I would follow NS 283 from Brownsboro, Alabama to Huntsville, Alabama. BNSF 602 is one of 20 AC44C4Ms that were rebuilt from former Santa Fe Dash 9s. Engines of this class were delivered to BNSF in September of 2015 and are akin to BNSF's ES44C4s and ET44C4s in that they have 4 operational traction motors instead of the usual 6. On April 15th, Norfolk Southern would surprise everyone by running the Train of the Year west on NS 363. NS 4505 would lead H1 Dash 9 BNSF 1118, Southern Pacific Patch C44AC UP 6379, Warbonnet BNSF 751, and BNSF 7131. I would meet 363 in Stevenson and follow it west. I would beat 363 to Scottsboro with just enough time to get the tripod set up. NS 363 would then roll through Woodville, Alabama at track speed. I would then catch 363 on the outskirts of Gurley, Alabama on the side of Highway 72. The final catch of NS 363 would be of the train rolling through downtown Huntsville just after the sun had set. The River City Rail Club would hold their rail watch on April 20th in Decatur, Alabama, but I would break off to Hillsboro, Alabama to catch NS 283 with Executive SD70 Mac BNSF 9731, second of 5 in the Lashup. Later that evening, I would be joined by a few rail fans south of Decatur to catch CSX C002 with SD70AC CSX T4580 leading the way.
Detector out.
On April 28th, I would catch NS 284 with H1 9 BNSF 1105 and SD70 Mac WFRX 8866, both trailing behind H2 9 BNSF 4764. Norfolk Southern had been leasing several SD70 Macs from Wells Fargo and were in the process of returning the engines as their lease was expiring around the time of this video. May 4th would feature a lot of good trains and a lot of duplicate symbols as well. No one knows what happened, but due to a delayed train from the evening before, all eastbound traffic on Norfolk Southern would be delayed to the morning of May 4th. My first train of the day would be NS 36203, which is normally an afternoon train, with two AC44C6Ms leading SD70 Mac WFRX 8858. I would catch 36203 just east of Stevenson, and this would be my last catch of a WFRX motor before all were stored by NS. NS 28603 would not be far behind, and I would catch them in downtown Stevenson with UP 5470 leading SD70M-2 NS 2724. NS would begin storing their SD70M-2s soon after this video was taken, so this would also be my last time, so far at least, seeing an SD70M-2 outside of a storage line. I would then move west to Fackler, Alabama to catch NS 364 with newly rebuilt C44ACM UP9803, which was formerly a UP-9 of the same road number, leading NS 9819. This train would tie down at Crow Creek Siding just east of Fackler and will make another appearance later in this video. Later that day, I would catch Rock Train NS68X in Scottsboro, Alabama. Lead engine SD70ACE NS1064 had been dropped off by 36203 earlier that morning, and much to my surprise, was leading the train Long Hood Ford through Scottsboro. NS 364 would get another crew later that afternoon, and would depart Stevenson, Alabama and diverge onto CSX rails to embark on the final portion of their trip to Chattanooga, Tennessee. I would then journey west later that afternoon, going all the way to Control Point Forest to wait on NS72Z. This loaded coal train had been sitting in the yard in Sheffield all day long, and would depart Leeton, Alabama in spectacular sunlight with Montana Rail Link SD70ACE number 4309 trailing second. On May 18th, I would be joined by a couple of friends in Fackler, Alabama to wait for NS 286. NS 1072, the Illinois Terminal Heritage Unit, would be leading 2 BNSF GEVOs on the eastbound intermodal train. On June 8th, NS 286 would roll under the signal bridge in Bridgeport, Alabama with NS 1251, which is one of 2 SD70 ICCs rebuilt from SD70M-2s, leading the train south on CSX trackage. My reason for going to Bridgeport would come fourth of 4 on CSX X648. West Coast Express 902, an F59 PHI that was eventually bound for British Columbia, would trail behind CSX Power as the train crossed the Tennessee River. Wanting a more broadside shot in better light, I would give chase to X648. I would finally get a better shot of the entire Lashup just south of Sherman, Tennessee. Thank you for watching another video production from Slater Dozier Railroad Media. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see more content like this.